Good morning, Flosstube. Sorry, I'm gonna move this a little closer. Let's get a little closer. Um, Good morning. It is my Flosstube update number 55. And hold on a second. I had it up. Here it is. I made myself some notes because I'm, last week I got cut off at my tablet, I guess, only goes to 1 hour for whatever reason. And, I just blather on about some things, some non-stitching things. So I want to try to keep it uh, less than an hour. You don't want to hear me talk for an hour. So I made myself notes just to make sure I stick to my subject a little bit. So welcome back to any subscribers, to my subscribers, and welcome to any newcomers who might have stumbled across me one way or another. And for those of you who saw last week, Puck is back to himself again. He's back to his normal, spunky, pucky self. And Snug is as naughty as ever and as chonky as ever. Uh, uh, I have a one new thing that I bought for the cats, and that is this grooming glove. And as you can see, it's very hairy. um, and I'd seen something similar on, I guess, on television, like a glove that has nubs, and you just pet the cat or your pet or your dog, whatever, and you peel all the hair off. And I'd seen them at, I think they have them at Bed Bath and Beyond, but this one I got at Fry's. I think it's called Pet Select. Um, but it's the same idea, and it works pretty well. It's a little bit, I guess it's large, because it's sort of one size fits all. But the cuff part is actually a little bit snug. But you just pet your cat in this case, and the hair just sort of peels off, and it's good because Puck hates being combed. He'll bite the comb and fusses around and won't let me use it on him. And Snug, he's very chonky and has a hard time, like, he doesn't really groom his back, and because he's just too chubby. So the glove works really well. I can just pet them, and Puck seems to like it. um, One issue is that their hair kind of, especially Puck's, for some reason, kind of, some of it, a lot of it stays on the glove, but a lot of it, like, gets on the bed or whatever, wherever they are. So pros and cons, but it worked well in that um, both cats seem to really like it. Anyway, that was a bonus. That was a bonus. And the other sort of life thing. So today is my first day taking this new medication. It's a thyroid medication, and it's a small dose, but I have to watch out for, like, the doctor told me to watch for, like, heart palpitations or stuff like that. But uh, if I have any side effects to, um, that they might reduce or get rid of this dose or whatever. But I had just some lab work and doctor's appointment, just a regular checkup, um, the other day, and and my thyroid number measurements, I guess, were a little bit on the low side, and so we're trying this out to see how I feel about it. Anyway, but it comes with, like, all these rules, like, you have to take it first thing in the morning on an empty stomach and be upright for half an hour, before you eat anything or whatever. But you have to be upright for half an hour and take it with, like, an 8-ounce glass of water. This is what the pharmacist lady was telling me, to make sure that I guess that that you absorb the pill, properly or whatever. So it has now been half an hour, so I can eat something, whatever. But yeah, so I'm gonna actually take a drink of. Ooh, sorry, this splurped on me. Hold on 1 second while I get in. But I'm gonna have a little drink now of. Sorry, that was yummy. It's Pepsi and raspberry flavored emergency. I drink little concoctions like that. Okay, so let's get on to cross stitching, which is what we're all here for. So I have a couple of past finishes I thought I would talk about because I want to take them with me to Stitch Shenanigans. There's going to be a sort of what you might call a brag table, I guess, or sort of what other people call a brag table, but a table where you can put finishes that you're proud of, whatever that you want to share with other people. And one of the things I thought I would take is the sampler kind of type, whatever you call it, thing that I worked on. Tried to take some of it's a little bit hairy, but hold on 1 second. Stop, please. Stop, please. Puck. Snug, whatever your name is, you. So one of the things I thought I would take is this. I had not FFO'd it yet, but I thought I would take this because, I designed it and stitched it and, whatever. So that's one thing that I'm going to take. And the other thing is, I haven't shown this on camera. I've shown a tiny picture of it. This is the sampler I did for my sister's wedding. And this picture doesn't really do it justice, but there's one picture of it. And it came from this design. I think I've showed this before. It's kind of beat up because I had carried it around, worked on it for a couple of years. Not non-stop, but, but this, When Love Blooms, excuse me, this is designed by Diane Brakefield. And what I liked about it was that it's not, this is not focusing, but, it's not, but it's not like everything that year when I was looking for something to stitch. Everything was pink and blue and little cartoony couples and stuff like that. And I wanted something, excuse me, I wanted something a little more dignified, different colors, whatever. So this one is like pinks and greens and blues, I guess. But I really like it. I really love those swans. And even, the roses and stuff like that. I wasn't real crazy about the poem. And the poem in the middle says, New love blooms in spring, true love lasts like the evergreen. And then the couple's name and date and everything. But this design book came with, like, you can make a tray or a pillow. Hold on 1 second. Sorry, Tuck is kind of bugging. But it comes with these other little designs you could make. There's a smaller version of the swans. This is a little flower trim thing, and so you can make the square as a pillow instead. And there. So it comes with all these different. Sorry about that. It comes with all these different designs. So when I made it, I wanted to use the Shakespeare sonnet 116. Let me not to the marriage of true minds admit impediments. Love is not love which alters when an alteration finds, or bends with the remover to remove. Oh no. It is an ever-fixed mark that looks on tempests and is never shaken. Whose worth's unknown. Did I do it right? Yeah. It is the star to every wandering bark, whose worth's unknown, although its height be taken. Love's not time's fool, though rosy lips and cheeks within his bending sickle's compass come. Love bears it. Oh no, love alters not with his brief hours and weeks, but bears it all bears it out even to the edge of doom. Sorry about that. If this be error and upon me proved, I never writ, nor no man ever loved. So this is the sonnet 116. So what I did was I took the alphabet that they provided in this chart, and I charted out the sonnet. And I tried to just sort of eyeball these other elements, because these are all elements from the design book. These are the corners of the tray pillow design, and they were like separate mirrored corner pieces. So I just used the corners, and then this is that little rose trim, and here the rose trim again. I mean, a different one there, and this one here again. It's on this side. We'll pull it back a little bit, and then this one is this lower middle thing here that separates the poem from the name. And there's the little swans and the big swans, and yeah. So what I ended up doing was, I put these in here to fill up this sort of empty space created by the shorter lines of the sonnet. Oh, there's a cat. Sorry. So I have the sonnet, and I have their names, Mark and Naomi, but I don't have the date of their wedding, which was stupid of me. But and my name's not on there either. But so well, what the heck. This was one of the first things because I started stitching in 1988, and this was in 90. I don't know what year my sister got married. 92, 93, something like that. 92? Sorry, Naomi. 1992, I think, that I started it. I didn't finish it. When I saw that I wasn't going to finish it in time for their wedding, I set it aside, and I think I worked on it little by little and finished it, I think, in time for their second anniversary, something like that. But because I couldn't eyeball it, and I had to sort of chart it out. But this chart, let me see if I can show just a little bit, is in color. So I talked about this before, that it so like there might be a blue triangle and a green triangle or something like that, so the same symbol but a different color. So they used the symbol more than once. Well, when I was doing it in black and white and pencil, I couldn't do that. So I had to I wrote myself a little key, and I lost it now, on the back of this thing with the I made up a new symbol for some of them, and then the color, that was used for it. So I put together several pieces of graph paper and charted it out, and that took me. I remember lying on the floor of my apartment with this big piece of paper, charting out the, meticulously drawing the chart so that I could do that. Anyway, so yeah, that's going to on the brag table, if you will. So, so that's one of those are among that is among my oldest finishes, and the sampler thing is among my newest finishes. Okay, so what I did during this time is I worked on some other stuff, because I mentioned last week the things I was gonna take, the pieces project I was gonna take with me to Stitch Shenanigans, which is on the 11th, just a few days away. Today is the 5th, no, 5th, 6th. Today's the 6th. So in 5 days, the retreat starts on the 11th. Yay! So I just have a few days to, I need to organize my life. I need to think through everything. I have to get my little stitch and give gift thing ready. I want to do that, and so I'm gonna I haven't told my mom, but I'm gonna take over the dining room table to sort of, as a staging area, if you will, and sort of little by little put my things out there that I'm going to take. Not my clothes necessarily, because that's going to be a sort of a last minute thing. But I did do a couple loads of laundry last night, so I can think through what I'm going to take and pack. What I can pack ahead of time. But anyway, so I had talked about what I'm going to take with me to stitch on, and I'm taking a few projects because like the little Christmas penguin, I may be able to finish that before, in a day or two, because I have very little left to do on it. So anyway, so I kind of, I think I worked a little bit, I don't know if I did the video last Saturday, and I don't think I think Santa's house was what I had been working on. And I set that aside because I'm not taking that to the retreat. So I'm taking Daily Walk in the Woods and the Christmas Penguin, and then a couple of new starts I talked about last time, the hedgehog and the little mouse thing. And excuse me. And I think I might take Eeyore with me too, just to have something to work on. I don't know, to have variety. So I'll probably do very little work while I'm there. But anyway, excuse me. Sorry. So anyway, so I set all those aside, and I wanted something to work on. So I have this little bunny that I've had for a while, and so I started him. I think I started him on Saturday. He was technically my high tea start, but I started him on Saturday because, But, so I finished him. Did all his back stitching, and his little nose, and his little carrot. Really cute. I was feeling like doing something Easterish, bunny-ish, whatever. And there are so many cute bunnies on the, for Easter, spring, whatever, in everybody's charts, and I wanted to. They're really cute, and I wanted to get them, but I'm trying not to spend any money because I'm planning on spending a lot of money at the retreat. It's the hotel and food and everything else, so it's going to be a kind of an expensive weekend. So anyway. So I didn't want to buy a new chart, but I've had this little bunny chart for a while. So, and I think I talked about this last time, that I have a bunch of these small maybe I didn't talk about it last time, but I have a bunch of small charts like this Christmas and everything else that come with this little, like a plastic frame and a little sticky board kind of backing that you can go, and I have one that's I don't know if it's just like a nighttime thing or it's actually a Christmas thing, but it's like a little moon, and I think the moon is wearing a little man of the moon thing. It's a little crescent moon, and the man of the moon is wearing like a Christmas hat, I think, or something like that. And it's kind of full coverage, but it's tiny, and it came with a little plastic frame, but I cut it wrong. It's a little on the small. It's too small for the frame thing. Anyway, um, so so I got to thinking about a different way to finish it, and so that one and this one and a couple of other Christmas ones that I have, um, I think I'm gonna finish them as tiny, like maybe little fobs, little something ornament things that are, but without the frame. This little frame, just finish them differently. So, uh, and this is so tiny for the project bag. I was using this little bag. I think I've talked about it before. It was a like a purse, and it had like a long strap made out of this cording that's on the side here. I don't know if you can see it. This cording, but a certain cat that shall remain nameless, fuck, naughty cat, chewed through the cord, chewed it apart. And so I finally just cut the pieces of the cord off, and it's a little tiny project bag, and it looks like it's, I don't know if it's machine stitched or whatever, but it's stitched. But I thought I can use that as a notions bag or something like that, but it was just the right size for this tiny project. So Mr. Bunny is in there. And so since I finished that, I started it on Saturday and finished it I didn't stitch a whole lot over the next several days because I was kind of busy running around doing stuff. But I think I finished it on Tuesday, I want to say. So this past week, I've been working on, the past several days, a few days, couple days, whatever. I've been working on this Western Biscornu by Tiny Modernist. That's really cute. And this is the cactus design that I used for my brother-in-law's sister for the bookmarks that I did for her birthday in January. So I used this little saguaro from the Biscornu pattern, but I've never done a Biscornu before, and so I wanted to do it, and I decided to use not white Ada, but this is I want to say it's Fiddler's Cloth. I have the thing right here. It's 18 count Fiddler's Cloth. It was sort of a natural or light colored, and I dyed it. It's coffee dye. So these are the sort of outlines the on it, and there's I just have these two, the bottom and the top. And so, yeah. So I'm going to work on this a little bit, and I may or may not take it with me to the retreat. I don't know. It just depends on, I might take it just, to see what I feel like working on while I'm there. But, so, okay, then I did have a little bit of haul. I I went with my sister specifically to a sort of quilt shop, and one of the things that I got was this Beam Read lamp light thing. That it's a hands-free test light. It hangs around your neck, and it's battery operated. And you, sorry, the cat. It's you flip it down, and you can, work on it to stitch, to knit, whatever, So and it has like these. It has 6 little bulbs across here, and you can. I guess it has two different settings. I think. 6 lighting options. For needlecrafts, reading, walking, and more. Extra wide, extra bright beam filters for relaxing light. 6 lighting options. Long battery lifetime. Long battery run time. But yeah, so you wear it around your neck. So she had one, and she told me about it, and so we went the other day to pick this up. And so, because I had some running around to do, so while we were running around, we went to buy that, and I bought some batteries to go with it. And I'm going to take that to the retreat. Because even though we will be in a room and have lots of natural light and all that, I can have that with me, wherever. And so at the quilt shop, they have this ground nutshell, but it has lavender in it. It's lavender scented. So I haven't opened it to, see what it smells like, whatever. But so you can, you can fill a pin cushion with it or whatever. So I think I might use this for the Biscornu, or I might not use it for the Biscornu because the finishing instructions talk about fiberfill, so I might do that. But I do have a little pin cushion type thing that I did several months ago that I bought at the attic. It's a little kitty cat pin cushion thing. I don't have it handy, but I haven't I never FFO'd it. So I have the backing fabric that I chose for it and all that, but but I might use this to fill that, to stuff that. But I bought that. I saw that there and bought it. So, and then while we were out and about, we went to Joann's just because. Well, yeah, just because. And so I just bought a couple flosses. 2 of them were for the little mouse pendant thing that I'm taking to the attic. That I'm taking to the retreat. And I'm hoping that when going up to the attic, that I might go ahead and buy the Weeks Dye Works flosses that are called for in that design. I did do a DMC conversion, and so I could easily just do a DMC version of it, and that's what these flosses are for. But I might buy the Weeks Dye Works colors just because they're for that little mouse. It won't use much, and then I'll have some left over, And then I bought this issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher at Joann's. Here's keepsakes. There's Vonda Pfeiffer. So I looked through it and saw some really nice patterns in this, and there's a nice spread about keepsakes. And the thing for me is, I really like these punch needle designs, and I really like Teresa Kogut's designs. And the nice thing about her is that she has some are not, maybe not all of her designs, but some of her designs, she has both a punch needle version and a cross stitch version. So so you can do whichever one strikes your fancy, I guess. Whichever one if you're into punch needle, you can do it as a punch needle. If you're into cross stitch, you can do it as a cross stitch. So I might go on her side. I know that the one with the lamb wearing wearing a scarf, the sheep wearing a scarf. I want to do that one. So I think Vana did it recently. And the other thing I bought was this little journal thing. It comes with some designs. You can do the skull, or you can do. This says "Let's be wild and free," and it has the design there. But you can do your own design. And I did one of these for my niece Hannah a couple of years ago for Christmas, I think. And I just made it, put her name and, I think there was a floral design in there or something, or I got and I had the design somewhere. But it's just a little bitty journal that you can, stitch. So I think I might stitch on this and use it to keep track of my stitching. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I just bought it on a whim. And the other haul I have is for the retreat. I guess Arlene Cohen turned us all onto this and submitted it to a company called Threadless. So it's this design. I talked about this last time. How time is spent at a stitching retreat. And so, actual stitching, buying and enabling shenanigans. So I bought a tote bag, and I bought a zipper pouch, and I got a t-shirt, and I have it in here in a plastic bag because I didn't want cat hair on it. I got a purple one with the design on it. So I think I'll wear this at the retreat. So yeah, I got all that, and I want to make sure I got everything. Oh, and Mary Rose Stitch Bliss Corner. She had talked about last week, I think it was, on her Flosstube about Ada versus linen and all that, and Bendy Stitch mentioned this on her Stitch with Me video she did the other day. But this design I had for the little wedding sampler thing is done on Ada, and it looks really nice, even though it's just Ada, as some people say. It looks nice on Ada, and actually on this white or off-white, the colors of it doesn't compete, with the colors of the roses and the swans, and it really I think it looks good on this material, on this fabric with this design. And then this is done on linen, and I have to admit that I was, when I first started watching Flosstube, I felt really, really bad about the fact that I had only ever used Ada. I had never gone to an L&S. I'd never used Fancy Floss. I'd never used anything other than Ada cloth. I think I had bought some linen, obviously, because this is all, I had it for years. but I had bought some linen but never used it, and because I was a little intimidated by it, and I didn't know about 1/2 or 2/2 or how you measure whatever. I didn't know anything about using linen. I just but but I felt bad when I first stumbled across Flosstube because everybody was talking about Ada and talking about DMC like it was simple, or that that real stitchers used linen and Lugana and blah 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 whatever. And so I thought, well, gosh, does I don't think I could articulate it, but I just felt bad. I felt depressed about it. And then I think Vana at the time was talking about people would send her stuff to finish and they would apologize, oh, it's just on Ada, or it's and they would apologize for like the backside of their work is messy and this and that and the other, and she was sort of saying, you don't have to apologize for anything that you do. You're stitching, your whatever you're doing is fine, no matter what you stitch on, no matter what you stitch with, whatever, it's still stitching. And that's was very encouraging for me. And it kind of, I have branched out a little bit. I have used some even weave, and like Santa's house is on even weave, for instance. And I like the look of it, the feel of it, but also it's very easy to miscount if you're doing 2/2 or something like that, like I'm doing on with Santa's house. It's a lot harder to count because I have to count the squares like 2 squares instead of 1 square or whatever that I do with Ada. Because with Ada, the holes are very obvious. That you can still miscount, of course. That little bunny, I had to pull out a whole row because I had miscounted. I had missed a row. Um, but but going back and forth between, like, the Christmas penguin is on Ada. It was a little kit, and it's on Ada cloth. And going back and forth from that to, like, say, Santa's house took a lot of, I had to get my eyeballs used to the difference. Um, so, but whatever you use, as long as you're stitching, as long as you're doing, whatever you want to do, some of those designs, look fine on Ada cloth. There's nothing wrong with it. But you know, I think I had mentioned this at one time, um, that that Flosstube is really great for creating this community of stitchers. That we're all sort of uh, learning. That, hey, this other person exists in Omaha that has the same taste I have, or whatever. Even though we're miles apart and we might not ever meet in real life, um, we share the same goals or the same ideals or the same taste or whatever, across the country, across the world, even in another country, that, we all like the same things, value the same things. We can be a community that way, but we can also put a lot of pressure on each other to buy all the things, to do all the things, to stitch everything. Um, we can do a sort of peer pressure or FOMO or whatever. Oh, I love this pattern. Everybody has to buy this pattern, so everybody rushes out and buys it. They might not ever get around to stitching it, but they don't want to miss out on it. And so, and for me, it, both good and bad, is the fact that I have sort of a limited budget when it comes to cross stitch stuff. So I can't buy everything, and I have to sort of really wait and decide, do I really want this thing? You know, I might find it very pretty, very attractive for one reason or another, but do I really want to buy it? Am I really going to, get around to it? Am I, and so I have to, sort of think long and hard um, about whether or not I'm gonna, gonna buy something, and that's both good and bad. What one thing I wanted to get in on was I think it was this past summer or past. It was a few months ago, but Ginger Gerald had designed the first of his Tales of the North, I think it's called, and Caroline did a little bundle with a you could buy for I think it was $75. You could buy the bundle that was the design, the first design, and some floss that was dyed specifically for Caroline by Victorian Motto. I don't know, but and then and a notions pouch and a tote Evertote bag. So for $75, you could get the whole package, and it was beautiful. The colors were beautiful. The design was nice, and the Evertote bags were wonderful. And so I really, really, really wanted it, but it was a little bit out of my price range. Especially, it was just a bad timing. Another day, another time, I might have plunked it down the money for it, but it was offered for a short window of time, and I just didn't have the money at the time, and so things like that, I have to be a little judicious. I could have just sprung for it and been broke for a long time, but as the circumstances were, I really could not justify spending that much money at that time for that thing, and you know by another token, I was able to pay money for the retreat. I decided I'm going to do this, and plunked down the money for that instead. And I have the hotel room and the meals and stuff like that. So I'm thinking about that. So anyway, that's a long way of saying that that we pressure each other into buying everything, doing everything, stitching everything, and it can be both good and bad. You can say, "Hey, I'm going to do this thing," and or you know buy it because everybody else is buying it because you think you have to, and then you end up not doing it or whatever. So all I'm saying is, it's a good reason to be careful about what you do, and it seems like everybody's a couple of years ago everybody was buying everything and starting everything and doing everything, and now everybody's like, oh look, I have so many things I need to concentrate on, on working on my whips and things like that. So it kind of goes back and forth. Anyway, um, uh, that brings me to the idea of Stitch Mania again. Some people do 31 new starts, new start every day in May. Other people do as many as the year, so 2019, so they'll do 19 new starts. Last year I did a Whip Mania. I chose 9 whips and worked on them the first 9 days of May. I worked on one each day, and then starting on the 10th day, I sort of reversed the order. So I had 9, and I reversed them so that I started on number 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So I had 2 days on each of the 9 whips, and I made some progress on some and not as much progress on others. And I don't think I finished any one of them. I think they were I think they were all far from being finished. So I was not able to finish them in just the 2 days. Although some of them, I had some little Christmas things, and they're very close to be finished, but not. I didn't finish them. But anyway, so I think this year I'm going to do 19 days on one project. Something I have some stuff in my Stitch 9 challenge that are bigger things like the daily walk in the woods, the piano cat, the wolf, and Santa's house. Any one of those projects, could stand to have 19 days focused on them. So I'm gonna pick one of them, I guess, of those four, and spend 19 days, concentrating on it, and see if I can finish one of them. I don't know. I think maybe Daily Walk in the Woods is closer to being finished, and I might be able to. Maybe I'll be able to finish that if I stick to it, or one of those other projects. Um, we'll see. Uh, the problem with them is, the piano cat I might be able to do. The problem with the wolf one is the fact that I probably have to spend as much time coloring my working copy to see what to mark off what I've done so that I know what I'm doing. Excuse me, because all the colors, I can't just look at it and say, oh, this is, supposed to be red and this is supposed to be blue, so I've done all the red and now I need to do all the blue. You can't look at it like that because it's like, well, this is, it's this darker shade of gray and this lighter shade of gray, and which ones have I done, which ones haven't I done, and it's harder to tell. I have to sort of go through and I've talked about this before. Compare the pattern and the stitch piece and see which ones I've done, because I didn't make a working copy and I didn't mark off the stitches that I stitched, and it's very, very confetti heavy. It's just all confetti almost, and so it's going to take a lot of work. So I don't know. Maybe I'll concentrate on that one because it's probably the oldest of the four of them: Santa's house, Day the Walk in the Woods, Piano Cat, and the Wolf. The wolf is the oldest one, definitely. So maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll concentrate on that one. I don't know. I have a month to think about. Oh, a few weeks to think about it. The better part of a month. Um, so that's coming up in May. Um, but what's really coming up is Stitch Shenanigans. It's just around the corner. So yeah, I'm gonna work on getting that finished. But now it's time. It's getting late, and I want to go eat something now that my little pill is well digested, I think. Um, anyway, I ordinarily do my videos on Wednesday, and excuse me, what am I saying? Wednesday, Saturday, and I probably will not do one Saturday because I'm going to be at the retreat next Saturday. So maybe I'll do something briefly on Thursday. Maybe I'll do something on Sunday evening when I get back. I don't know. Or maybe I'll film something from the retreat. I don't know, because I usually do it on my tablet. And I haven't tried to do it on my phone, to try to record a video on my phone or anything like that, but maybe I'll do something from the retreat. I don't know. Um, uh, I'm hoping that everything goes well. One thing I wanted to talk about the retreat real quick before I run out of time, um, is that uh, there was a roommate thing where the girl that I was going to room with, and I had talked about last week about my concerns with the shower business, and the girl that I was going to room with had there was her Trisha, this girl that I was going to room with, and there was a girl named Cynthia and a girl named Sue, and Sue was looking for a roommate because she was saying the only way she's going to be able to afford to go is if she got a roommate to split the cost with her. But and Cynthia had an ADA approved room because her husband was originally going to attend, and then he didn't. So she had an ADA room and didn't need it, and Sue needed an ADA room preferably, and I needed an ADA room. And so anyway, it all boils down to Cynthia and Tricia are going to share a room, and Sue and I are going to share a room. Yay! Um, an an ADA room, and Cynthia and Tricia are going to share a regular room. So anyway, so that we were doing all this sort of wheeling and dealing with emails back and forth, and we were able to work that out. So yay. So it does have the ADA room has a walk-in shower, and so I think that's gonna work out fine, for me, for being able to use that in the room. So anyway, so my concerns with that are taken care of. And so anyway, so I think I'm gonna wrap it up because I'm running out of time here, and I've blathered on long enough. So I'll see you after the retreat, from the retreat. I'm not sure. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. And again, I don't think I said, I'm Elizabeth Martinez, phantastitches. You can find me in the Friday Off the Grid group or on Instagram. Okay, so goodbye. Thanks for watching. Thanks. Bye-bye.